Namaskaram. Adi Shankara Fine Arts welcomes you all to day 4 of Carnatic Canopy featuring Vidwan Sri R.K. Sri Ram Kumar. Sri Ram Kumar belongs to a family of eminent Carnatic musicians who hail from Rudrapatna, a little village on the banks of the river Kaveri in Karnataka, South India. Having had his initial lessons in violin playing from Vidushi Srimati Savitri Satyamurthy, Sri Ram Kumar was then trained in vocal music and violin by his grandfather Sri R.K. Venkatarama Shastri. He later received guidance in violin from Vidwan Sri V.V. Subramanyam and in vocal music from Vidwan Sri D.K. Jayaraman. Sri Ram Kumar began his concert career in 1981, performing his debut concert with Vidwan N. Vijay Shiva on the auspicious day of Shankara Jayanti. Sri Ram Kumar's concert experience includes performances for all the prestigious organizations like the Madras Music Academy, the All India Radio, Doordarshan, Kalakshetra, the Sangeet Natak Academy, the ICCR, and other premier sabhas across India. Furthermore, Sri Ram Kumar has traveled across the globe for concert tours with many prominent artists. Alongside his busy performing schedule, Sri Ram Kumar makes time to share his wisdom and experience through lecture demonstrations and talks. He has an intuitive grasp of musical, linguistic, particularly Sanskritam, and religious texts, and hence provides a more holistic approach to music, deriving from all these streams. Sri Ram Kumar is the recipient of many prizes in violin and vocal competitions, including the All India Radio Prize, the Yuva Kala Bharati Award from Bharat Kalachar, Chennai, the Kalki Krishnamurti Memorial Award from the Kalki Krishnamurti Trust, the Nada Wali from Nada Inbam, Chennai, the Vani Kala Sudhakara from Sri Tyaga Brahma Gana Sabha, Vani Mahal, Chennai, and the Isai Peroli from Karthik Fine Arts, Chennai. Adi Shankara Fine Arts is honored to have Vidwan Sri R.K. Sri Ram Kumar today, presenting a lecture demonstration on translating vocal music into violin playing. Please sit back and enjoy the program. Namaskaram.
सद्गुरुगजस्य वाणी चरणयुगाम्भोरुहेषु मद्हृदयं सततं द्विरेफलीलां करुणामकरन्द लिप्सया तनुताम् जय जय चिन्मुद्रकरे जय जय शृङ्गाद्रिविहरणव्यग्रे जय जय पद्मजजाये जय जय पद्मजजाये जय जय जगदम्ब शारदे सदये जय जय जगदम्ब शारदे सदये नमस्कारम. It is a pleasure to present this two-part program, the first part being a talk and the second part being a performance, along with Vidwan Sri Manoj Shiva, Vidwan Aniruddha Atreya and Madan Mohan for Adi Shankara Fine Arts. The topic for today is translating vocal music into violin playing. The violin has come to be an integral part of Carnatic music concerts, and down the ages we have had great Vidwans and Vidushis who have nurtured this art of violin playing right from Balaswami Dikshitar, who got the violin into the Carnatic music fold, right from Balaswami Dikshitar, Vadivelu, Subbaraya Shastri, and beginning from there, the violin has been shaped, the violin has been nurtured, and the violin has been exploited to its fullest extent possible to bring out the intricacies and nuances of Carnatic music, both as an accompanying instrument and as a solo instrument. It has brought out the various facets of Carnatic music. As an accompanying instrument, it has kind of taken the pride of place. In olden days, it used to be a veena or the flute that would accompany a vocal concert. But after the violin was taken into Carnatic music, it has occupied a pride of place, more for the reason that this is an instrument that brings out the beauty of vocal music to its maximum capacity. As we know, the technique of playing the violin maybe originated, the technique of playing the violin originated in India, but the present form of this violin, this structure and the science and the art of making the violin has been perfected in different parts of Europe. And when the violin was taken into Carnatic music, it was tuned differently to suit the needs of our music, primarily to showcase the gamaka, which is an integral part, which is the most important feature of Indian music. The violin, as I said, has been exploited to its fullest extent possible, I guess. And there are different opinions as to how the violin should be used. This is my personal preference and my personal opinion, extremely personal and extremely personal preference and personal opinion. And I have been groomed and brought up and trained in this mindset that the violin, when played, should bring out the beauty and the intricacies of the way you render a composition or a raga vocally. So, yes, there are people who think that the violin has other possibilities, so it need not necessarily reflect vocal music. It need not necessarily you can bring out different facets of the violin by playing or by adopting techniques that would not necessarily sound or resemble vocal music. But this is my personal opinion and the way I have been taught by my gurus and the way I have been groomed by great musicians, and the mindset that I also believe in very firmly, And it's my very ardent wish that whenever I play the violin, it should sound that somebody is singing. It should reflect the nuances of vocal music. And what are the necessary techniques, or what are the necessary methods that you should follow if you need to reflect vocal music in violin playing? This is very important, especially when the violin is accompanying a vocalist, for the simple reason that only when the violinist can reproduce whatever that is being rendered vocally or whatever that is being sung, only then will be an experience of, it will not be a discordant experience. There'll be homogeneity, and it will be of great help, and it will actually help the vocalist and also trigger the creativity of the vocalist. So you have to keep this in mind when one is accompanying vocal music. So how do you translate vocal music into violin playing? So essentially, what are the key features that one should remember? And I've been fortunate to learn this from my great gurus, Srimati Savitri Satyamurthy, my grandfather Sri R.K. Venkataraman Shastri, my guru Sri V.V. Subramaniam, and also from my gurus from whom I have learned vocal music, and who have given me a lot of tips into violin playing, like my gurus Sri D.K. Jayaraman, Srimati D.K. Pattammal, Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi, Sri Shammagudi Srinivasa Iyer, and Sri K.V. Narayan Swami. I've been extremely fortunate to learn from all of them and receive many insights into playing the violin and translating vocal music into violin playing. I'm also very indebted to Vidwan Shri T.N. Krishnan and Srimati N. Rajam for all the inspiration and the mentorship they have passed on to me. So, the first step to bring out such nuances on the violin, the first step is to, obviously, you tune the violin properly. The open strings must be tuned. Shruti Shuddha is extremely important. Shruti Shuddham, Swara Shuddha, Sthana Shuddha, Gamaka Shuddha, Raga Shuddha. Every Anuswara, every Swara must be in place, must be in Shruti. And everything matters. The way you hold the bow, the way you even the way you place the bow, play the bow. The bow should not go all over the violin like that. The way, because the tone matters. The tone of the violin, the way you hold the bow is directly related to the tone of the violin. And all open strings must be in Shruti first of all. The first aspect that one must remember is, how do you play the gamaka? So when one sings and the violinist is expected to play, the violinist should keenly observe what kind of gamaka the vocalist is producing. For example, if you take a raga like Shankarabharanam, right? Now, how do you play that Rishabha? So when you hear, actually the violinist, of course you need to have a knowledge of the swara, but when you play the violin, it is more to do with the sound that you hear rather than the swara. Yes, the swara is important, but the swara should be understood in the raga. Sari is not the same as Sari. That is also a Rishabha. The same Chatushruti Rishabha takes different colors and different gamaka structures. For example, in Yadukula Kambhoji, that Rishabha is different from the Shankarabharanam Rishabham, where you sing so it is not, Shankarabharanam is Chatushruti Rishabham, Yadukula Kambhoji is also Chatushruti Rishabham. No, there are differences. So the violinist has to have a very keen ear and has to notice every single anuswara, every single tone of the anuswara, every single length of the gamaka. That is extremely important because everything matters. The length of the gamaka, the tone of the gamaka, and the way it oscillates, and the sound of the gamaka. So the violinist has to play, has to hear the sound and play, and understand the swara in his or her mind and play the gamaka. So when it comes to Shankarabharana, then if I sing like that, so in general, this is a general tip. Of course, there are exceptions. The general tip is when the movement of the raga is in the arohana, the gamaka is from below. Like sa ri ta na na. So sa, that re is from sa to ga and lands in re. When the raga moves upwards, this is a general tip. There are definitely exceptions. There are phrases which defy this. I will come to that. But in general, when the movement of the raga is in the arohana, the gamaka is from below. And when the gamaka, when the movement of the raga is in the avarohana, the gamaka is from above. Na pa re sa ga ga re sa ga to re ga re sa. That is a different thing. In general, sa ni na pa ma ga re sa. There are instances, depending on the phrase, depending on the raga, this might, for example, if you play Kambhoji, tadara na 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 na, in that phrase, it's not like that. Tadara na na, the magapa da is from sa. So there it divides. Just because it's the arohana, that da is not from below. Magapada sa. It's not like that. Magapada na tadara na na na. So there are exceptions like that. But in general, this is a tip that is to be followed. So when you play the varnams, or because varnam is the first stage when the student starts to learn gamakams, and that is why it is very extremely important for the violinist to learn vocal music. For that matter, any instrumentalist need to learn vocal music, because only then the nuances of whatever we sing, the emotion of whatever we sing can be reflected well on the instrument. So when you play the varnam, Yerana painta chauka se ya yerana pai yerana, this is yerana pai. So and when you sing a varnam, those points which are punctuated, like which are accentuated with a little pressure, you don't sing normally you don't sing a Tana varnam like this. Yerana painta choka se, we don't sing it like this. Yerana painta chau, you see that extra pressure there. Choka se Virimo gogoni. The emphasis here is not on Sahitya. The emphasis here is on raga and these vowels which get those small little extra punches. So that has to be reflected in the when you play the violin as well. So when you play a varnam, you cannot again play like this. This does not bring out the power of the varna. So that wherever you have those extra pressures while you sing must also be reflected in the playing. I'll play the Todi Varnam first half of the Todi Varnam. So you see that Ga does not come like that. That knee is from below, ni da pa, that knee is from above. So both the nishadas cannot be played. So when you play seamlessly, you have to play with a natural flair, and that must reflect the way you sing. And those punches are accentuated by the usage of the bow. That is why he said you should hold the bow properly. The bowing technique must be in such a way that it can bring out these beautiful facets. So when it comes to Swaram, you have to employ separate bows for each Swaram. So that is how you differentiate between Sahitya and Swaram. And this differentiation is again very important, because when you play Neraval and Kalpana Swaras, the difference has to be seen, because the violin obviously cannot reflect the words. So when the violin is playing, when you are playing Neraval on the violin and when you are playing Kalpanaswara on the violin, you have to see that difference. And that difference comes with the usage of the bow. You have to play a separate bow for every swara. You can't, when it comes to swaram, sari sa ni da ni sa. So when I sing sari sa ni da ni sa, so when I'm singing danisa, danisa, it is not that nishada goes all the way to sa, and it's a loop between da and sa. It is not danisa, that is a different gamaka. Sari sa ni da ni sa, danisa. So that is why I said you have to hear the sound and play. Now this nishada is kind of lower than its position as Kaishiki nishada. Is its position. Now when I play that, the position of nishada is kind of low. Sa ni sa ni da ni sa da ni sa da ni sa ni ri ni da da ma. So sa ni da pa. When I play in Todi especially, it is, the nishada is definitely lower than its position. It's as low as that. But in that gamaka, only the raga should be heard. It is not about. That is why I said you have to hear the sound and play. This is very important because when it comes to ragas, like for example, Varali. That ga, ta na ra ra na 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 ta. This ga, this sound is common for Todi and Varali. It depends on the context of the raga. This is Todi. That Gandhara in Varali, so it must not be viewed as some Shuddha Gandhara or some. Yes, the Swara, you have to have the knowledge of the Swara, but the Swara in the Raga. So you have to understand the Raga and you have to hear the sound of the Raga, you have sound of the Gamaka and then play. So the Varnam, when you play with this kind of bowing technique, and here it has to do more with the accents and more with the raga rather than sahitya. But when it comes to kritis, sahitya takes extreme importance. And whenever you play any kind of sahitya, that has to be reflected. As I said, like how you play a separate bow for every swara, you play a separate bow for every syllable in the sahitya. Ramanannu brovara, Ramanannu brovara, Ramanannu brovara. If I sing like that, Ramanannu, I have to play 4 bows. That the cut in the bow should be heard. Otherwise, it will be like this. That does not bring out the sahitya content. And you must know how to use the bow. When you play karveis, when you play a long karvei, you have to use your complete bow. If I sing like this, we can't afford to play. It will be of extreme hindrance, not just to the vocalist, to everybody who listens. That is why you have a 29¼ inch of the bow. You have to use the complete bow when you play long karveis like this. But as the speed goes up, the bow length comes down. For that you play now already I am using only half of the bow. So when I play, as the speed goes up, you don't see the whole bow being used. A fraction of the bow is used, that's it. So as the speed goes up, this is very important because when we play Kalpanaswaras or Melkalam, Neraval, you have to know how to use the bow. When you play a long drawn Neraval, Vasavadi Sakalane, if it is of this Kala Pramana, you must know to manage your bow. If I can't afford to play, does not make sense. Sakala So when it comes to playing kritis, this is extremely important. You have to learn to manage your bow. You have to reproduce that kind of gamakas. For example, if you take Marive Here Gatiyovaram Mamarive. So you have to just listen to that sound. That's all. Adi Nishadama, Daivatama, Pada Pamaga Pamaga Magariga Mapa. The Chittaswaram of Marivere. That da, if you pronounce it as ni also, it's the same sound. Pani Pamaga Pada Pamaga. So Tarana, if it's so, it is Madhyamavati. Tarana, if it is so, it is Shankaravarnam. Sorry. It is definitely higher than its position of Daivatam. Then it's Shankaravarnam. That is Madhyamavati. Then it becomes Ananda Bhairavi. So that sound of, so that is extremely important. You don't need to think about what swaram. Yeah, you can think of it as a da as in Ananda Bhairavi. Pa da pa ma ga, which means pa ma ga re. It is mapagari or madapagari, God knows. That's all. So you have to just listen to that sound and reproduce it. So when you play, it must just hear. You must be able to hear magari. And the next thing is, you must, when we sing a kriti, we sing it seamlessly. But sometimes when you play it on the violin, you will have to figure out, for the continuity of the sangati, you might have to play it on the same string, and you must know when to change strings. In general, we play around about 1 octave on one string. For sangatis like Vishwamellanindi yunde varalunado pasana. In this sangati, what happens is, after you play, say if you are switching strings, because it is not generally, with practice of course you can do anything, you can just play the whole song on one string, but there are 4 strings in a violin. I think you better use them nicely. So I shift to the Panchamam string to play the rest. Now, to come back to Ma, I have to come back here. Now, this connection between Sa, that is lost when I play on 2 strings now. The connection as in that connection is a very important connection. So I must know what will happen to that connection if I play Sa here. I can't play like this. That is different. That is not how the kriti is. have to figure, I have to. That is extremely important. I have to bring that sa to ma on the string. Viva Karatanujam Shanaischaram Deva. Now that sa to da, if I play on two strings, that connection is lost. I have to play da here, otherwise the connection is completely lost. I can play da here. Viva. See. Again. Karatanujam. You can play that, but this is more beautiful. So these are places where you need to know how to figure out and not to lose the continuity of the Sangati. Palinchu Kamakshi Pakshi Palinchu Kamakshi Pakshi Pavani. I cannot afford to play it on the other string. Obviously, it gets truncated. Yet another aspect is the emotion with which you play. You have to bring out the emotion of the song. For example, the light and shades, the stronger and the subtle phases in the composition of the raga. For example, ma yum ma yani ne pilachite ma tlada. It's important to sing like this also. You cannot afford to sing Maya Tlaga. No, you don't have a monotone when you sing. Maya Tlaga Rada Ambama. When you sing, so if that has to be played, you have to employ you have to know the technique of Vallinam and Mellinam. definitely lower the sound there. I cannot play that. We have to employ that kind of vullinum and mellinum. That is extremely important when we render a composition. There are more instances. We have a few more to cover. Neraval. It's an extremely difficult task even to sing and to play as well. We have different types of neravals. For example, if you take a Rupakatalam, something like Jata Rupa Nibhachela Janmarjita Pamakhila Jata Rupa Nibhachela Janmarjita Pamakhila Jata Rupa. In that type of neraval, yes, the standard rule is you have to play a separate bow for every syllable in the Sahitya. Only then we can differentiate the because when it comes to male kalam neraval, it will appear no different from playing Kalpanaswara. So to differentiate between playing Kalpanaswaras and playing neraval, we have to employ this kind of the bowing technique where you keep the Sahitya in mind and play, and you play a separate bow for every syllable of the Sahitya. So that is why it is extremely important for the violinist to learn to sing. So in the mind will automatically translate it into swaras. Rather than that, the mind should keep the Sahitya, and you have to sing in your mind when you play neraval. Jata Rupa Jata Rupa Nibhachela. I have to play 8 bows. I cannot play like this. Janmarjita. That Gama is on one bow. I cannot play like that. So when you have swift Madhyamakala neravals like this, so what happens is the mind should not translate into swaras. In the sense, mind should not leave the Sahitya back and just play swaras. Then what will happen is it will be heard like this. Jita. I just played swaras now. I did not play neraval actually. Jata Rupani Bhaje Janmarita Mama. So Why I am saying that you have to keep Sahitya in mind is when it comes to a lower Kala Pramana and with a longer set of when it comes to a lower Kala Pramana with 4 Avartanams, it becomes extremely difficult. Classic example is Kamakshi Kanjadalaya Takshi Kamakshi Kanjadalaya when the Kala Pramanam is lower like this and you have 4 Avartanams of this line. So when we play Neravel, unless we keep Sahitya in mind, we will end up playing just 3 Avartanams or 5 Avartanams and not 4 Avartanams. Kamakshi Kanja Dalayakshi Kamakshi Kanja Dalayakshi Kamakshi. When we play Neravel, what will happen is that dala is, it should be heard on the bow. Kama so when you play the Onnankalam Neravel like not be heard as Kalpanaswaras. So in order to do that, you have to keep the Sahitya in mind and highlight the portions where the Sahitya is placed properly, like Kamakshi Kanjada Laya Takshi Kamakshi. It becomes even more difficult when you play male Kalam Neravel, because automatically the mind will switch off to Swaras and leave the Sahitya dangling out there. Even while we sing male Kalam Neravel, we kind of lose track of the number of Avartanams and sometimes end up in 3 Avartanams or go up to 5 Avartanams. So, Kamakshi Kanja Dalaya Takshi So what happens is when we sing Madhyamel Kalam Naraval, Kama Kshi Kanja Adalagayata Kshi Kama Kshi. You have to spread, you have to keep this, maintain this length of 4 avartanams. So when we play the violin, when we play Naraval, you have to keep this in mind. Especially when the vocalist has just left it at Kamakshi and you pick it up at Kanjadalayatakshi. So already 1 avatam is gone. So when you pick it up at Kanjadalayatakshi, you must remember that you have picked it up at Kanjadalayatakshi and play the rest of the 3 avartanams properly. And it's not, we should not, that is why you have to keep Sahitya in mind. Ja, da, la. I should not play like this. I just ended playing 3 avatanams now, which means I did not keep Sahitya in mind. I did not. I just played some swaras. Anyway, Sahitya is not heard and convenient. So as long as you land properly, you are fine. No, that is not the spirit of playing Naraval. Huh? You have to learn the Sahitya. You have no choice. If you don't know the Kriti, when the vocalist is singing, at least you have to follow the Sahitya. That is the role of the violinist as an accompanist. Yeah, definitely. The violinist has no chance to look around. The violinist has to concentrate in the music at all times. Yes, even if it's a new Kriti, even if it's an unknown composition, the violinist has to look at what the words are, like how is the set and what is the movement of the Sahitya and everything. Yeah, the tune, everything. Similarly, while playing Kalpana Swaras, when you play Kirkalam Swarams, it is extremely important to include all the Anuswaras when you, even this is while singing as well, and it is applicable when you play the violin also. For example, Pamagarigam Nilayatakshi. So when you sing Swarams Vanilambari in Kirkalam, Gama pa pa ma pa pa ma pa pa ma gama pa ma ga ri ga ma ga sa ni. So ri ga ma ga sa ni, ri ga ma ga sa ni does not bring Nilambari at all. Ri ga ma ga sa 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 ni sa ni. Again, you employed your light and shades. Gama pa gama pa 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 ma pa pa ma pa pa ma gama ni pa pa ma gama pa da pa sa ni da ni sa ni pa pa gama pa ni da ni pa da pa pa ma ga. So this is extremely important when you play Kirkalam Swarams. The raga comes with all its anuswaras, any raga for that matter. But when it comes to male kalam, all the gamakas shrink. So, the same Neelambari. That's all. So, the length of bow comes down and all the anuswaras shrink. So if you have to keep this in mind when you play Kalpana Swaras, and for every single swara you play a separate bow, and all the gamaka structures should be kept intact. Like for example, if you play a Kirkala Swaram in Surati, Rima pa ni ni da ni sa ni sa ni re sa re ni. If I sing like that, sa ni da pa ni ma pa sa ni da ni sa ni sa re ma ga pa ma re sa ni re sa re ni da ni sa re ni da. It is just not sa or just not re. It is Surati. Da 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 na da ni sa re ni da ni da pa pa ma ni da ma ga pa ma re. Tanam, again a very important aspect. Tanam, we have different techniques of Tanam playing. This technique that I am groomed in, Anam tatayanam ta Anam tatayanam tanam nam taga. So if I think Anam tatayanam tanam nam tatayanam tayanam tanam ta anam ta anam ta nam ta, all those punch points should, and for general technique is nam ta. You play a separate bow for that. There are other techniques where you play on the same bow. You can play on the same bow with proper cuts. Anam tatayanam tanam ta. Anam tadayanam tayanam tanam tadayanam 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 ta anattum tadayanam ta. num dadayanum danum num dadayanum num dadayanum num dadayanum num dadayanum num dadayanum num dadayanum. So So, if one feels to reproduce the way one sings on the violin, we must keep all this in mind. And yes, there are more things to be said due to paucity of time. I think we will wind up here. Yes. That is a very, very beautiful question. Ramakrishnan sir is asking a question. How do you follow or how do you play for a virtam or a shlokam? Yes, I have a very dear friend who is a flutist. His name is K.R. Subramaniam and he lives in Los Angeles. He is a disciple of Ramani Mama. And he's a Nalla Jnanastha and he plays well as well. And he says, the only grouse that I have against instrumental music is you can't play virthams. He is so sad that he is unable to play virthams on an instrument. Yes, that is definitely you can just play a ragam, but when you sing a virtham or a shlokam, the emotion of the sahitya makes it much more. What shall I say? The experience is much more because of the sahitya there. But yes, when you follow a virtham, when you play alone during a shlokam or a virtham, we keep in mind not to play extensively, but the violinist has to have the intelligence to bring out the raga in a nutshell. That is very important. To bring out because you cannot definitely bring out the sahitya, but if I sing a line of ragam shlokam for about 5 minutes, the violinist should have the intelligence, that acumen and the insight into music to bring out the raga in just 2 minutes, or bring out the quintessence of the raga with the essential and that heart-rendering phrases. That is the best technique one should adopt when you play for a shloka. You should not start off in the mantra sthai, then play in the madhya sthai, then tara sthai, not a huge alapana there. That's extremely important. Very nice question, thank you. So, we will conclude with this and we will play a short concert for you. Thank you.